month of November. Britain's savvy tea drinkers are in a quandary as to which brand of tea bags contain microplastics, and how to dispose of the tea bags after use. The four biggest brands all contain plastics, which accounts for £400 million worth of tea, and 1 million cups are drunk each day, which makes for a lot of tea bags to dispose of. Your alternative weather for today says it is still a tidbit nippily out there, so put the kettle on and no wait, anyone for hot chocolate. Now back to the tunes on LJTV.
I'm just going to turn on the camera. We've got the microphone switched on. I can't hear the music, but I think it's finished now anyway. Welcome to today's show. I had a whole different plan for my intro. I don't even know why I'm doing it whilst it's still on. No music would be coming through straight away. Might as well just do it that way. The easy way. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me for today's show. Welcome to Online. This is a little bit late for the normal start. Also seems to be a technical glitch again on the system. I'm worried that I've lost some sound. Oh no, I still seem to be with you. It just, on my monitor system, it just froze. I don't know what that was all about. So, anyway, I can't currently see the chat. I've had an issue there. I can't see any of the notifications. I had a whole issue with my music. It wouldn't load for me. So I've also got to try and get all of my ducks back in line whilst we get on with the show. This week, our album in focus is There's a Riot Going On, and that is the studio album from Sly and the Family Stone. I'll be telling you about that 1971 release and what album it is answering its title with. So that is our official link to the album in focus for this week. We've also got brand new music in store. We've got some movies to talk to you about, some games to talk to you about. We've got plenty of features still in store, and I've got some great music as well. I noticed that my camera is a little bit low, so maybe I should be talking like this, but I'm just going to move on with some music. We're going to start off today's show with I Gotcha from Jotex.
I gotcha! You thought I didn't see you now,
There we
did
go.
you? You tried to sneak by me now, did you? Now give me what you promised me. Give it here, come on! Good God. You promised me the day that you quit your boyfriend, I'd be the next one to ease on in. You promised me it would be just us two, yeah. And I'd be the only man kissing on you, yeah.
I am back with you. I'm just having a bit of a nightmare in the studio today. Trying to get something sorted out. Bear with me. I do apologise for this as I try and find my way in the dark. I'm sure it's somewhere. Just need to get there. Well, that's sort of somewhere. There we go. Look how relaxed we were. Okay, I'm back with you in sorts. I apologise, we lost music there as well, right at the end of the track. Let me sort out the camera. Once again, I still think it's in the wrong place. Alright, maybe that's a bit better. I think so. This jumper doesn't like green screen. Okay, I might try and move the microphone as well, but I might do that after I've muted it. That would be a good idea, rather than the noise of it. So, what have we got planned? I'm going to move to some brand new music up next, or I wouldn't normally move up to something from the charts, which is what I'm going to do next, actually. That's what we're going to do next. Jesus, what happened? Everything just hit the fan. Alright. Take a moment, take a breath. The album in focus is from Sly and the Family Stone, so we'll be talking about that excellent album and telling you why you should add it back into your rotation or add it into your collection, whichever one suits the cause, in a little while, and hearing 2 songs from said album. I will have an official link to that album in focus. I'm going to calm down and get back into the groove of things, but up next we've got a song from the charts of yesteryear. I just need to grab my book. Just to show you, everything really went. I've got new adverts. I've got new elements that I'm trying to add into the show as well. That happens to be one of the new movies. Let's get that knocked out of the way as well. Relax. We'll get them. Right. That's one of the new movies we'll be talking about in a little while, and also sharing the trailer of the movie with you. We'll be tweeting out about all of the brand new things on the Twitter feed as well. I will hopefully be able to get the chat back up and running so I have some sort of idea what's going on around me. So yeah, fingers crossed we will be able to return the seats to the upright position and everything back to normal. But we move back to the charts of 1974, and where the Chai Lights had just entered in the charts at number 39 this very week of 1974, in at number 39, so just creeping into the top 40 with this next song. Okay, that's the close-up.
She made me forget my marbles. She said she had another game to play. One thing led to another. Now what more can I say? Just one of the reasons why I got her by my side today. She's just too good to be forgotten. That's all that I can say. Too good to be forgotten. No, I'll never let her get away. One in a million people. Shout it from the highest steeple. She's just one of the few. Got my mind, got my life wrapped up in love. Her hair was shiny, long and black, a smile so sweet and bright. I thought of her and dreamed of her all night after night. I love the ground she walks on, the very air she breathes. I ain't never leaving, 'cause I'm happy as I can be. She's just too good to be forgotten, girl. What more can I say? Too good to be forgotten. No, I'll never let her get away. One in a million people. Shout it from the highest steeple. She just too good to be forgotten. What more can I say? Too good to be forgotten. No, I'll never let her get away. Too good to be forgotten. That's all that I can say. Too good to be forgotten. No, I'll never let her get away. Too good to be forgotten. What more can I say? 50 million reasons why I'll never let her get away. Too good to be forgotten, girl. What more can I say? Too good to be forgotten. No, I'll never let her get away. Too good to be
Maybe? No? Me? Yes, that was the microphone. We got one down. Let's look for another button to push. We'll just push them blindly. There we go. There we are. I'm here back in the sports desk, or the music desk, I should be calling it, when we're on a Wednesday and Friday show. Though I shouldn't be calling it a sports desk anymore. I should just change it up a little bit. This was just meant to be a place saver for the desk to talk to you at. Anyway, over here at the desk. We have just been listening to the Chai Lights with Too Good to Be Forgotten. That was brand new this week of 1974, in at number 39, so just creeping into the top 40. Thank you very much for putting up with all of the technical difficulties and sticking with me. Currently still can't see the chat, but I still have a lot of love for all of you lovely people who have joined me. We're going to move on to Shuggie Otis. This song has been covered, but his is the original. This is Strawberry Letter 23. We've got brand new music coming up just after, in a couple of about 4 minutes time. But we'll also be playing a trailer at the same time, so we've got plenty of features coming up as I try to get back into
Hello, my love, I heard a kiss from you. Red magic satin playing here too. All through the morning rain, I guess the sun doesn't shine. Rainbows and waterfalls run through my mind. In the garden, I see was purple shower bells and tea, orange birds and river cousins dressed in green. Pretty music I hear, so happy and loud. Blue flower echo from a cherry cloud. Feel sunshine sparkle pink and blue. Playground will laugh if you try to ask, is it cool? If you will ride and don't see me, I'm going to be with my baby. I am free, flying in her arms over the sea. Same window, yellow candy screen, 6 fingers up high, with velvet roses digging freedom fly. A present from you, strawberry letter 22. The music plays, I sit in for a few.
Here I am. Press the right buttons. Found the right combination. So we've just been listening to Shuggy Otis with his original composition, Strawberry Letter 23. But you might know the Brothers Johnson's biggest hit. Well, they had the bigger hit with this one. So yes, we've got a lot of funk music on today's show, inspired by the album In Focus. The album In Focus comes from Sly and the Family Stone, and also from 1971. It is in reply to a title of another huge album from 1971, and that will be our official link to this week's album In Focus. But there is other features still to come. We'll be telling you about some news stories as well in Gigglebyte. We've got brand new games to recommend, to highlight for this week, one for each of the consoles and also one for the PC. We're going to move forward to some brand new music, but whilst we'll be listening to this brand new music from Brooklyn-based band Big Thief, we'll also be enjoying the visuals of a new movie from I'm going to mess up his name, Del Toro? Director Del Toro, that one. So let's not try and mess up his first name as well. But that is Scary Stories. We'll be seeing the trailer for that in just a moment. I'll tell you more about the band and the movie that we'll be enjoying together in just a moment, after they've happened, basically. So hopefully you'll be intrigued on the information after you've seen the evidence. This first brand new song is Forgotten Eyes, and it's from Big Thief.
Forgotten eyes are the ones which we lose. Forgotten hands are the ones which we choose to let go of, but it is no less a bruise
Oh, yeah, yeah. I love you more than I can say. I love you twice as much tomorrow. Oh, love you more than I can say. Oh, yeah, yeah. I'll miss you every single day.
Don't know which one I keep turning on instead. Anyway, we're going to talk over some Leo Sayer. Anyway, more than I can say, and I've got some stuff to say. So that band there is Big Thief. That song that we were listening to them whilst we were enjoying the visuals of Scary Stories, that was Forgotten Eyes. They are from Brooklyn. I will be tweeting out that picture, making it easier to find their new information, or the information about them, and finding a direct link to their official Twitter feed. Finding my direct link would be just simply by asking the mods. There is also a link on the Mixer channel, so if you just scroll down you'll be able to find the link straight away. So what else have we got in store? We're currently listening to More Than I Can Say, and I wanted to tell you about the trailer that we've just seen. That was age rated at 15, so keep that in mind if you wanted a movie for fun for all of the family. It is scary, but maybe strange fun for all of the family, but it is age rated at 15, so it has to be age rated 15 and above. Scary Tales to Tell in the Dark. Scary Tales to Tell in the Dark is the name of the movie. Some kids unleash a vengeful spirit from the Book of Ghost Stories. It receives a 6.7 rating from us. Keep that in mind for what it's worth. It's just our version of looking at the user ratings, the critics, and whittling it down for you, and then giving you our humble opinion in there as well. So it's a little bit of a mix, that rating there, and whatever you'll make of it. So I do have the picture for that. I'll put that up in just a second. We're carrying on with music from Leo Sayer.
I love you twice as much tomorrow. Love you more than I can say. I love you more than I can say. I love you more than I can say. More than I can say. I love you twice as much tomorrow. More than I can say. I love you twice as much tomorrow. More than I can say. I love you more than I can say. More than I can say. I love you more than
On the mic?
I can say.
Is that the microphone? There we go. We got it there in the end. So, More Than I Can Say, that was the movie that we were talking about, so hopefully I have said just enough to whet your appetite. If you want to see that trailer with all of its sound glory, then make your way to the Twitter feed in just moments, as I haven't quite tweeted it out yet. We are going to be talking about the album in focus. The album in focus is from 1971. It is a studio album from Sly and the Family Stone. It was a difficult recording for the band, as Sly was very much in the grips of his addiction at the time. That would be the polite way of saying it, and was very much throwing his weight around at the time. So it was a labour of love for the band, from what I understand, but it was also quite an ordeal. This was released in 1971. The album is entitled There's a Riot Going On. It is the fifth studio album from Sly and the Family Stone. It runs at 47 minutes and 33 seconds long, to be absolutely precise, and it was recorded in California. It is produced solely and alone by Sly Stone, so have to point that out. I do have the picture. Normally I bring up the pictures currently having issues, major technical issues, and we're still just moving on anyway. But we're carrying on regardless. That's what I should be saying. So the album in focus has a link to the in title to another very famous album from Marvin Gaye. That will be the album's official link. So we will be moving to a song from Marvin Gaye after we've heard from Sly and the Family Stone, or the first song from this album on today's show. There is a drum machine that is used and to fake drums in some of the songs on this album. A very early drum machine, so a originator back in 1971. It was unheard of. And it was breaking boundaries. But there's a riot going on. The 5th studio album from Sly and the Family Stone. The first song we're going to listen to is, in brackets, "You Caught Me Smiling." It's a beautiful song and was also released as a single.
Hanging loose, 'cause you ain't used to see me. You caught me smiling again. You caught me smiling again. I'll be gone. I won't take you long to climb a tree like me.
Caught Me Smiling again. That is Sly and the Family Stone. It is taken from the album in focus for this week, the 1971 5th studio album from the band. We were also talking about some of the links, so I will point out that the name of the album is There's a Riot Going On, and it is a direct link to the Marvin Gaye album that was released 6 months previous, and I think one of the best or biggest selling albums of that year. But we're not focusing on that album. I just wanted to point out the name of that album is also the title of this next track. So it's the direct link is what we're following. I could have gone down the routes of the guest appearances on the album. For instance, Billy Preston, he is on the album along with Ike Turner and Bobby Womack. They are all on this album. A very excellent album indeed. We shall return to it in the second hour of today's show. What's going on? There's a riot going on. You see, that's how it links. Here's Marvin Gaye with What's Going On.
Hey, what's up now? Brother, what's up? This is a groovy party, man. Yeah, I can dig it. Stop. Right on. Hey, what's your name?
More
There's too many of you crying. Brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Yeah. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. You see, war is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Oh, picket lines and picket signs. Don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Oh, what's going on? Right now. Right on. Right on. Everybody thinks we're at home. Oh, but who are they to judge us? Simply cause our hair is long. Oh, you know we've got to find a way. Bring some understanding here today. Picket lines and picket signs. Don't punish me with brutality. Come on, talk to me. You can see what's going on. Yeah, what's going on? Tell me what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on.
Microphone? I don't think so. I have a microphone. There we go. Found the right button. What's going on? There's a riot going on. That would be the direct link to the album in focus from 1971. This album was also from 1971 as well. Both albums are huge hits for the respective artists. Marvin Gaye passed away in 1984, and also the very same year that Jackie Wilson would pass away, and the subsequent year, 1985, the next artists would release this track we're going to move on to. So The Night Shift is a tribute song to Marvin Gaye, the late great Marvin Gaye, and the late great Jackie Wilson. I'm going to be hearing Night Shift from the Commodores in just a second. We've got a fascinating fact to provide you, which I will be backing up on Twitter. I have not had time to do any of the tweets yet, but I will be catching up with that, hopefully, with this nice long 5-minute song. So let's get straight into it. It is the Commodores from 1985. It is The Night Shift. We've got more brand new music in store. We've got games galore, as I haven't even started on those yet. So I've got plenty of highlights for you. Yeah, stay tuned. That's enough. Go away, LJ. Let's listen to the Commodores.
His heart in every line. Marvin sang of the joy and pain. He opened up our mind, and I still can hear him say, oh, talk to me so you can see what's going on.
like yesterday when we were working out. Jackie, oh, you set the world on fire. You came and gifted us. Your love, it lifted us higher and higher. Keep it up, and we'll be there at your side. Oh, say you will sing your songs forevermore, evermore, evermore. Gonna be some sweet sounds coming down on the night shift. I bet you're singing proud. Oh, I bet you're full of crowd. Gonna be a long night, alright. On the night shift, you found another home. I know you're not alone. On the night shift, gonna be some sweet sounds going down on the night shift. Oh, on the night shift, I bet you're singing proud. Oh, you're singing proud. Oh, I bet you're full of pride. Oh, yeah. It's gonna be a long night. It's gonna be alright. On the night shift, on the night shift, you found another home. I know you're not alone. On the night shift, gonna miss your sweet voice. That soulful noise. On the night shift,
Yeah, I found it.
night shift, on the night shift,
Did it work?
we all remember you.
Wasn't going to turn down the music without it. Okay, still could do with turning the music down a little bit more than that. There we go. That is Night Shift. It was from 1985, and it was a tribute song to Jackie Wilson and the late great Jackie Wilson and the late great Marvin Gaye, who we were talking about just a moment ago as the direct link to the album In Focus, which is Sly and Family Stone's 1971 album There's a Riot Going On. We shall return to that album in the second hour of today's show. That song, they do a lot of name checks for the actual songs as well, in particular from those artists, so they use some of the lyrics from their songs. This next track also got accused of being the inspiration for the Doors song Hello, I Love You. So there was a little bit of debate. This was brand new into this week's chart of yesteryear. This is the reason why I'm going to it, and because there is an obvious link between that song and this one, so that's why I'm here. So this song was brand new into this week's chart of 1964. Back this week of then, it was in at number 18 for the Kinks. All Day and All Night. All Day and All Night. There is a lyric in there. I'll tell you more about it afterwards. Let's hit the song, hit play on the song, and I'll tell you the link to the Doors in a little while.
I'm not content to be with you in the daytime. Girl, I want to be with you all of the time. The only time I feel alright is by your side. Girl, I want to be with you all of the time, all day and all of the night. All day and all of the night. All day and all of the night. I believe that you and me last forever. Oh yeah, all day and night I'm yours, leave me never. The only time I feel alright is by your side. Girl, I want to be with you all of the time, all day and all of the night. All day and all of the night.
push random buttons, you'll find your way, LJ. So that was All Day and All of the Night, and that was a hit for the Kinks. It was brand new into this week's chart of 1964 in at number 18, but we were talking about the link from that song to Hello, I Love You. So sometimes there is, actually even Ray Davis and Dave Davis have played versions on stage doing substituting some of the Doors lyrics but never really speaking about it. Well, they have gone on the record in the past about it, and their management wanted to sue the management of the Doors for copyright infringement. I believe that they never got involved with it, so they don't really know what the full details are. That's what they've gone on record for. So it never really happened. No one ever got sued over which way, who copied who sort of thing, but there's always been a little bit of a question mark over that, or those two songs in particular. So that is a little bit of myth history for you there. I'm sure more still to be found out. We're moving to some brand new music. The brand new song we're going to be hearing from is from Wildwood Kin, and the new song is entitled The Crown, and we're going to play that next. And whilst we're playing that, we'll be seeing the visuals for this brand new game as well. So this is the brand new release for the Xbox. You'll be seeing that over the music, or the music over that. So if you want to hear the visuals, hear the sounds that go with the visuals, find your way to the Twitter feed. I'll tell you more about the game in just a moment. Here is the music to go with it, and let's hit play on that trailer.
It's a heavy weight to carry what's at stake. The pressure's on. In a quiet place, but no one knows your name when hope is gone. Can't ignore the voice of a broken people. Castles fading, falling steeples. Ooh, will you be ready when it all comes crashing down? The applause no longer sounds. Where will your strength be found? Heavy is the head, where's the crown? When it all comes crashing down, the applause no longer sounds. Where will your strength be found? Heavy is the head, where's the crown? When the levee breaks, will you watch and wait, or let it drown you? Or let it drown you? When you run the race, will you hold your faith if it's not about you? It's not about you. When it all comes crashing down, the applause no longer sounds. Where will your strength be found? Heavy is the head, where's the crown? When it all comes crashing down, the applause no longer sounds. Where will your strength be found? Heavy is the head, where's the crown? Hear the voice of a broken people. Castles fading, fallen steeples. In the end, we were lost and equal. Hear the voice of a broken people. Castles fading, fallen steeples. In the end, we were lost and equal. Hear the voice of a broken people. Castles fading, fallen steeples. In the end, we were lost and equal. Heavy is the head, where's the crown? When it all comes crashing down, the applause no longer sounds. Where will your strength be found? Heavy is the head, where's the crown? When it all comes crashing down, the applause no longer sounds. Where will your strength be found? Heavy is the head, where's the crown? When it all comes crashing down, the applause no
little loud, that
longer
track.
sounds.
Did try to adjust
Where will
the
your strength
music
be found? Heavy is
whilst
the
it was
head,
playing.
where's the
Didn't want to adjust it
crown?
too much though. Okay, so that was brand new music from Exeter, and the name of the band is Wildwood Kin, and the name of the song is The Crown. That is the picture I'll be tweeting along with information to find your way to their official Twitter feed. I'm having a bit of a mare of a show, so this isn't the normal way that it would normally run. Normally, at this point, I would be going, right, we'll finish off the first hour, we're going to hear the news and weather, and then we'll be back with the second hour. But we had a bit of a nightmare start, so I started about 10 minutes late, and we've also got plenty of other stuff that I've got to get around to. I've got fascinating facts to provide, I've got more trailers, I've got more highlights, I've got more, and more. Stay tuned for some of these things and more. That's the perfect word. Use Me from Bill Withers next. And then we'll be moving straight into the news and weather. I want to say a big thank you for the hosts and for all of the involvement. I can see some of the chat on the screen down here, but I can't see my original or proper chat box. So that's where I'm currently having issues. But bless your hearts for joining me with this technical issue show.
They keep trying to tell me all you want to do is use me. But my answer ain't all that use me stuff. I want to spread the news that if it feels it's good getting used, oh, you just keep on using me until you use me up. Until you use me up. My brother sit me right down and he talked to me. He told me that I ought not to let you just walk on me. And I'm sure he meant well. Yeah, but when I talk was through, I said, brother, if you only knew, you'd wish that you were in my shoes. You just keep on using me until you use me up. Until you use me up. Sometimes it's true, you really do abuse me. You get me in a crowd of high-class people, and then you act real rude to me.
I've just realised I showed you the trailer for the first game for this week. I didn't say anything about it. So let me just quickly sneak in before we move to the top of the hour, or my fictitious top of the hour, the one I'm using anyway. That game was from Sega. It was the new release of the Super Monkey Ball series. So it's called Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz. And you take back your bananas, apparently, from the evil space alien pirate king. The evil space alien pirate king, you know. And that received a 7.3 rating from us and is our highlight for the Xbox. So, we're going to take a little bit of a break to have the news and the weather at the top of the hour. If you don't find that this weather forecast is particularly helpful, there is one available to be used in chat, but if you need assistance, then I'm sure we can proc the commands for you in just a moment. I'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, maybe sooner.
bottles all contain plastics, which accounts for £400 million worth of tea, and 1 million cups are drunk each day, which makes for a lot of tea bags to dispose of. Your alternative weather for today says it is still a bit nipply out there, so put the kettle on and no wait, anyone for hot chocolate? Now back to the tunes on LJTV.
That's the second lot of sirens I've heard go past my house, but I suppose I wish them all the best. I hope they get there in one piece. And I'm glad they didn't pull up at my house. Anyway, this is the second song we've heard from the Commodores on today's show. This is from their the same album was entitled Machine Gun, I believe, as well. So this is the title track from their debut album. From the Commodores, but we heard from them from 1985 as well in the first hour. We're moving on with the show, as moving back in time is a little bit more difficult, and up next we'll be hearing from Stevie Wonder, a legend funk soul artist in his own right, and we are staying very much in the funk soul genre because of the album in focus. We shall return to the album in focus in this hour of the show. So we'll have another song from There's a Riot Going On, the 1971 album, the fifth studio album from Sly and the Family Stone. I'll be telling you more about that album and its history, and hearing another song from it on this hour of the show. So more brand new music still. I've also got a fascinating fact to provide you. Fascinating if I do say so myself. If you want to find out proof, then you're going to have to stay tuned. It's the only way. There is also more trailers to get through. We're going to be returning to the charts of yesteryear. We've got so much stuff going on. So much stuff going on, as per usual on a Wednesday show. No wonder it is difficult to explain. So bless your hearts, your farts. Now you know what I'm saying. You know I'll continue too. So the first song we're going to hear from this second hour of the show, even though it's a little bit of a late start for the hour of the show, it was a late start on the whole show really. We're going to be hearing Don't Drive Drunk. It was taken from the Woman in Red movie soundtrack that Stevie Wonder recorded for me, starring Kelly LeBrock and Gene Wilder. Here it is, and this is great advice. I am back with you. I do apologise. For some reason, we have lost connection to the sound. So I've been enjoying the lyrics. In particular, he was so inebriated that if he lit a cigarette, he may explode. I just love the way that Stevie Wonder works the lyrics. But let me try and sort out the sounds so we can get those back too. I was just sort of hoping that it's going to go, oh, I remember. That's what we want to do. Oh, hold on. Is that an ice cream van? No, it's more sirens. More sirens. No ice cream. We're going to try and skip a little bit back in this song from Stevie Wonder. As I say, it was from the original soundtrack, Woman in Red, 1985, I think, as well, but I haven't checked that fact, so don't quote me on it. My camera does look a little low. I'm not that short, I swear. So we've got to jump back in time with our next track. We'll be going to the charts of yesteryear. We'll also be playing a trailer, so that will be happening, and I'll be telling you a little bit about it very shortly. This is Don't Drive Drunk.
Teenager at a live party says, "Give me one for the road," but he's already so inebriated. If you let it smoke, he'd explode. Oh, but bartender says, "I don't think so." Young one says, "I can deal." Staggering out, he says, "Check y'all later." But I really don't think it will. No, don't drive drunk. Don't drive drunk. No, don't drive drunk. Mothers against drunk drivers mad. Again, don't drive drunk. Don't drive drunk. No, don't drive drunk. Mothers against drunk drivers mad. Boy out with a girl on their first date, gets pulled over by the law. Officer says, "Hey, can't you drive straight? Or have you been drinking alcohol?" Oh, boy says, "Man, are you crazy?" Cop says, "Hey, then walk this line." But results from the breathalyzer proves he's charged with DUI. Oh, don't drive drunk. Don't drive drunk. No, don't drive drunk. Mothers against drunk drivers are mad. Say it again. Don't drive.
I mean, it's just so perfectly 80s from Stevie. I'm going to have to change this camera angle a little bit. It's getting on my nerves. Let's sort that out. There we go. That's a little bit better on the horizon line. Yes, a little bit of OCD there. Had to get that sorted. Alright, so we're currently still listening to the nice long track from Stevie Wonder here, so I can get things a little bit more arranged in the studio. We're going to be playing a trailer for the PlayStation release, our highlights for the PlayStation for this week at least anyway. There is more games available than the ones that we'll be highlighting, but I just highlight one for each of the consoles and one for the PC. Mainly because sometimes around Christmas it gets a little bit difficult to fill that remit. But not far, so I'm sure we'll be finding out in due course. We'll be returning to the charts of yesteryear in just a moment once we've heard the rest of this song, and we'll be seeing the PlayStation highlight over the music, under the music. I don't know, you know what I'm saying. There'll be no sound on the trailer.
Don't drive drunk.
There you go. Something work for me, please. Sort of. There we go. Thank you, Stevie. So that was little Steveland Jenkins, who we better know as Stevie Wonder. We're talking to you about this game that we've got displayed over here. This is the PlayStation release highlight for this week. It has received a 6.6 rating from us. Is it? No, sorry, I do apologise. I'm on the wrong list. Ignore that. We'll start again. It has received a 8.1. Let's get a little bit more respectful, isn't it? It's an 8.1 rating for this new release for the PlayStation. And it's all about sparking a revolution, which I had to point out before we got into the trailer, because there's a riot going on, is the name of the album for this week. So it's all linked together, as if it was intricately planned. I got in line with the game developers as well, knew what was going to happen around about this week. No, these games have been out for a week. We do look through all of the new releases and look for the ones that I think are worth highlighting. So if you have a PlayStation, this is what I'm highlighting for you, and we're going to be listening to this brand new song, well, at least it was brand new, of the week of 1974 for Barry White. This song was brand new into this week of 1974, in at number 38 for Barry White. You're the first, the last, my everything. So the fourth in the series, actually. They could have made two. They've made four. That was Disgaea. That was the brand new game for the PlayStation, our highlight. It could be available on other platforms, so maybe find out before you dash your hopes upon the rocks. But we are highlighting it on the PlayStation for this week. Disgaea, the complete. You spark a rebellion to bring down the rulers of Hades. It has received an ep47.1 rating from us. If you want to find out more information, I will be posting a direct link to their official Twitter feed in just mere moments, but I have to get that sorted as I'm running a little bit late on most of the features on today's show. I do apologise for that, but we're taking it nice and easy. I'm trying to follow it back into the areas that I know very well, so that's why we're playing some music that I already know lots of the facts about, so I can just sort of fall back into it a little bit. That we've heard from Barry White was brand new into this week's chart of 1974 in at number 38. 38, yes, it was 38 for You're the First, the Last, My Everything. This next track is entitled Young Rulers. It is from a brand new artist who hails from the fair borough, the very same borough that I am from, or at least I was born and raised in, although my heritage is from Ireland, and I am very proud Irish boy all the same. But I was born and raised in Hackney. So this artist also hails from Hackney, the London borough of Hackney. Arlo, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing your name, I apologise for it, but Arlo with Young Rulers is the next brand new song.
Better ask yourself how many smiles you fake today. Too busy making eyes with big words. It don't feel so clever. You think you're shining, but it's a coney. I don't care no more. You go. Use this erase to show how little we care. Better act brand new if you don't wanna be left for dead. I'm seeing ghosts again and I'm trying not to stare. I don't care no more. For you go. Young ruler, won't you take control? You lit the fire, so just let it burn. Young ruler, won't you take control? You lit the fire, you lit the fire. We're breaking glasses just to see them break. And all this made up glory, oh, you know it won't last, it won't last, it won't last. No, no, no. Young ruler, won't you take control? You lit the fire, so just let it burn. Young ruler, won't you take control? You lit the fire, you lit the fire. I won't apologize for who I am. There's no more trading places, we're in vain. Young ruler, won't you take control? You lit the fire, so just let it burn. Young ruler, won't you take control? You lit the fire, you lit the fire. Won't you take control? You lit the fire, so just let it burn. Young won't you take control? You lit the fire, you lit the fire.
Young Rulers, that's the name of that brand new song from Arlo, and apparently he hails from Hackney, the London borough of Hackney, where I know that neck of the woods very, very well. Born and raised around there. So we're going to move on to something else. We we were talking about stuff, and yeah, I'm kind of losing the plot a little bit because I've had quite a lot of technical issues. I do apologise for that, but thank you so much for staying with me on today's show. We're trying to iron out all of those technical issues from along the way. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to say. There we go. Finally caught up with myself. So that is a picture of Arlo. Sure, he's a little bit submerged in that picture, but that was the picture I've chosen to promote that song on Twitter. So I will be tweeting out all of these things probably after the show, actually, for today's show. Probably the best way to do it, rather than panicking about getting all of the plates spinning at the same time. We haven't even started on any of the retro adverts, and that's just finally twigged in my mind, because I've re-recorded the adverts for this week, and I've even got inspired by the very excellent streamer, if we could have a shout out for VTech in the channel, the very excellent streamer, and the whole concept of Spark Train. I have tried to edit my own Spark Train, so I've been trying to work on something like that. So I've been trying to hopefully edit and add that into the idea of the show. So I have a little, a couple of things in the back room still waiting to come out. So we'll get there in due course, I suppose. But anyway, is the name of this next song. See what I've done there? Do you see what I've done? Good, because I tried hard. This is the Blues Traveller with But Anyway.
She didn't care, but anyway, I tried last week for to call her, she wasn't home, but anyway, I think I'll spend my life alone, I really don't care right now. But anyway, the state of affairs and the state of emotion, the kind of thing that you must understand. I'll tell you one thing, you tell me, and then we walk away, maybe then shake hands. It's bad for me, but anyway, I don't think that TV was joking when it told me this, but anyway, the newsman said not to sit on the streets politics. It's my life he's trying to save. But anyway, I found out that I got a cancer, too many television waves. But anyway, the state of affairs and the state of emotion, kind of thing that you must understand. I'll tell you one thing, you tell me, and then we walk away, maybe then shake hands. But anyway, I think the past is behind us. Be real confusing if not. But anyway, I put all my hope in tomorrow. It's gonna be great, I can tell. But anyway, I see a new day is dawning. I like to see it later. Well, but anyway, the state of affairs, a state of emotion, the kind of thing that you must understand. I tell you one thing, you tell me another. We walk away, maybe then shake hands.
Hey, you beautiful people. That is But Anyway, from Blues Traveller. Not a band that really made the leap across the pond, but you may recognise that harmonica playing, the very distinctive harmonica playing from the Blues Traveller, as also the harmonica that started off Roseanne. Do you remember that Channel 4 programme? Well, it was an American programme, just Channel 4 played it. Alright, what are we up to next? We're going to take a short ad break, the ad break that I probably should have started with in the first hour, but we've got some classic adverts. I like to get around to some vintage ads, and it gives me more of the radio plan that I used to have for these types of shows. As a matter of fact, not just these types of shows, this was actually originally on the radio and streamed at the same time. This show used to be on both platforms. Then I sort of left the radio behind me. Well, not just sort of. I left the radio behind me. Right. With things being left behind, let's go to an ad break.
Got any lemonade? He wants. Milk? Ugh. It's what Ian Rush drinks. Ian Rush? Yeah, and he said if I didn't drink lots of milk, when I grow up, I'm going to be good enough to play for Accrington Stanley. Accrington Stanley? Who are they? Exactly. Nah, get off. Give me some. Get off.
Just look at them. They must be crackers. A double-decker bus could be right on top of them and they'd never even see it. Hey! You must be out of your tiny minds. When you cross the road, always use the green cross code. Keep your wits about you and keep looking and listening. Great. See you, girls. Take it from me. Be smart. Be safe.
That's the right one. There we go. We find the right button in the end. So that was the first of our vintage adverts. I have changed them up a little bit. And yes, I must be out of my tiny little mind. We've got some more adverts in store still. We've also got some more brand new music. We've got the album in focus to return to. But I'm going to hear... I've got a song here that I'm going to play next from Dr. John, Mac Rebenak, the Night Tripper, the man with many, many names. Here is Such a Night. Then we shall return to the album in focus.
It's such a night. Sweet confusion under the moonlight. Such a night. Such a night. To steal away the time is right. Your eyes caught mine in the attic land. You let me know that this was my chance. You came there with my best friend Jim, and here I am trying to steal you away from him. Oh, but if I don't do it, you know somebody else will. If I don't do it, you know somebody else will. If I don't do it, you know somebody else will. If I don't do it, you know somebody else will. And it's such a night. It's such a night. Sweet confusion under the moonlight. It's such a night. Such a night to steal away the time is right. Yeah, I couldn't believe my ears, and my heart just skipped a beat when you told me to take you walking down the street. Oh yeah, you came here with my best friend Jim. Here I am, stealing you
somebody else will, baby. If I don't do it, you know somebody else will. 'Cause it's such a night.
So, that was Such a Night. I've lost the sounds in my headset, which is not a good sign. Don't know what's going on with this cable. Never mind. That is Dr. John, Mac Rebenack, and many other names that he used to go by. The late, great Dr. John with Such a Night. We're going to move to the album in focus, or we move back to 1971, and I believe it was November of 1971 that would see the release of this album. There's a Riot Going On, a direct response to the Marvin Gaye album of What's Going On. There's a riot going on, Marvin. They should have just thrown in Marvin as well, I think. Would have made it slightly more obvious. Also, the original album cover, although we can move over to that desk, and if I take a moment to come over here and change the picture, you'll see the album cover whilst I talk about it, and that would make a little bit more sense, surely. Let's not go crazy now. Album info, there we are. So, this is the album cover. That's how it was released, and it was released, the original album artwork, it was released with suns instead of stars in place on the American flag, and then they stuck on a little sticker to tell you that the hit single Family Affair was on this, contained within. That was one of the ways that they tried to advertise this hit album anyway. The critics were not in favour of this album. They hit back after Sly and the Family Stone changed a little bit of their style since the previous album, and they changed via one of the inspirations that Sly was taking, as he was inspired by the drugs that he was very much getting heavily involved with at the time, but he was also getting a close relationship with the Black Panther group in America, the same group that Fight the Power and the militant group, that's the word I'm looking for, militant group, which is why they suggested to him that the music should be more of a militant type of music. There's a riot going on. The title itself is against riots going on, so it's saying, look, there's a riot going on, we need to change, we need to find a common ground again. So that's kind of the inspiration behind the album's title, and the music contained within. A lot of the content of the songs, or the subjects behind the songs, are not necessarily what you would expect. For instance, in the first hour we heard You Caught Me Smiling. Again, well, that is a drug reference. But we're going to move on to our next song. This was also released as a single, I do believe. I'll check that fact. But this is Running Away. It was released as a single. I'm gonna bet on it now. I'm gonna bet on it, and then I'll confirm that in just a moment. This is the next song from the album in focus. On today's show, at least, anyway.
To get away, ha 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 ha. You're wearing out your shoes. Look at you fooling you, making blues of night and day. He, he. You're stretching out your dues. Look at you fooling you. Shortcut is quicker, but ha 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 ha. Time is here to stay. Look at you fooling you. The deeper in debt, the harder you bet. He. You need more room to play. Look at you fooling you.
There we go. So that was taken from the album in focus. The album in focus title is that there is a riot going on. That single would top the not top the charts. I'm thinking of the Barry White song we played earlier on, which would top the charts. And this single from Sly and the Family Stone, and I can confirm it was a single, would peak in our charts at number 17. So, on with the show. That is the album in focus. We've got some brand new music still in store for you, and we'll get around to that right now. In the third and final part of today's show, we will have the always planned but unscheduled, always scheduled but always a little bit unplanned. I'm sure I got that a little bit arse about face, but we get there in the end. We've got to catch up on all of the features that we haven't got around to on today's show. We have had a tech nightmare on today's show, as it would seem that anything I touch seems to crash, reset, explode. Sparks are coming out of my ears at the very least. Alright, so we've got some brand new music from the Sherlocks with Under Your Sky. Have a listen, see what you think.
When I wake up in the morning, is it all gonna be alright? So we can run away to a holiday in the sun. You're falling down, where did you go? Now I'm here on my own. You never made a sound. Did you ever hit the ground? 'Cause these days are long and it just don't feel right. I can't get you out my mind, and all I need is just more time. Living under your sky is so much better than mine. So please don't let me down. Your sky will have the time of our life. So don't ever let me down. So Monday morning coming down with a bad taste in her mouth. She won't get inside my head. Let's get today over and done with just for now. So don't feel alone, you can talk to me. I'll meet you in the clouds where the sky can meet the sea, and we'll draw down memory lane just to see what still remains. There must be a reason why it comes and it goes, just like the nights that we spend under your sky. So much better than mine. So please don't let me down. Your sky will have the time of our life. So don't ever let me down. Would you let
Okay, I know it's still playing. Let me turn it down, don't worry. This is Under Your Sky. It's from the Sherlocks. They are from someplace, somewhere, maybe on this planet. I'm going to sort of pin it down maybe a little bit closer to their hometown by the time I tweet out about it, but I wasn't quite ready on today's show, unfortunately. I do apologise. But that might have something to do with the fact that the show didn't start on time. The computer rebooted itself at the moment I was about to hit go live. There's been quite a few technical issues. We're not going to live in the past with those things. We're going to move on to another movie to talk to you about. And during that movie, the trailer, we'll be hearing some music rather than the trailer's sound. If you want to hear the trailer's sound, then you'll have to make your way to the Twitter feed after today's show, as I will not be posting during the show. I've got a lot of things to try and sort out, hopefully. So I've been talking to you for quite some time now. Or should I say I've been talking to myself for quite some time now. That's just another one of the technical issues I've had on today's show. I haven't been able to see the chat. This is what I was saying a moment ago. I haven't been able to see anything that's happening. I do see the bubbles popping above my head. You might see me moving like that. But I can't read those at the moment, so I'm sorry about that. And I've been trying to carry on regardless. I do have a lot of plates that I'm trying to keep spinning, and yeah, nevertheless. We've got our next song lined up, which is from Curtis Mayfield, and we'll be playing that song over the visuals of this movie. This movie is the next in the franchise from Fast and the Furious. It's the Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Three heroes, and a world to save, I think was the tagline. It is age rated at 12A. If you want to find out more about this or see it with the sound, you can follow the link that will be posted on the Twitter feed after the show. We're going to listen to Pusher Man and watch the trailer. One of those shows today. Can't control them all.
Superfly, here I stand. Secret stash, heavy bread. Baddest bitches in the bed. I'm your pusher man. I'm your pusher man. I'm your pusher man. Silent life of crime. A man of odd circumstance. A victim of ghetto demands. Feed me money for style. And I'll let you trip for a while. Insecure from the past. How long can a good thing last? Got to be mellow, y'all. Gotta get mellow now. Push a man, get mellow, y'all. Heavy mind, heavy sight, making money all the time. My LD and just me for all junkies to see. Ghetto Prince is my thing, making love's how I swing. I'm your pusher man. I'm your pusher man. Two bags, please, for a generous fee. Make your world what you want it to be.
Hey, so I'm back
Not a
again.
woman I love desperately.
So that was Hobbs and Shaw, or the Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. And I'm sure that if you want to find out any more information about it, then you will make your way to the Twitter feed, or you will go out and seek your copy straight off the back of that recommendation. But it's just a highlight for the new releases for this week. We tend to look each and every week. I've been trying to keep up with the chat and trying to see what's going on with the chat. I've seen that I've missed so many people, and yeah, I've been just finally now, how far are we deep into the show? Nearly finishing off the second hour of the show. I'm this far deep into the show, and this is when I've been able to get some chat back up on the screen. So I want to say a huge thank you to all of you lovely people for your hosts and for getting involved in today's show. I've noticed that there has also been another follow, so I've hit the nice round number of 170 on Mixer, which warms my heart, and I bless your socks. Thank you. We also want to say a big thank you to VTech for being with us in stream. I did not notice that he was here, and yet I was talking about him. So I certainly hope I didn't say anything too upset. But I want to say a big shout out to my brother as well, who has a 24-hour marathon stream scheduled for tomorrow. I believe he's starting somewhere around 11 or 12 o'clock. I'm not entirely sure, but I will be retweeting any information that is available. So do check my Twitter feed after I finish today's show. As I say, I'm not quite back in the room 100%. It's been one of those shows this week. So, technical issues aside, what have we still got in store? Well, we've got one more song between us and the top of the hour, and at the top of the hour we will have another news break, so we'll have the news and weather. But if you don't like the weather or what it is that we're providing for the weather forecast, then don't worry, we have you covered on that as well. Type in forecast or exclamation forecast and then the name of the city and also the initials of the country you're in to narrow it down, and then it will give you your own forecast. So there are many different ways that we've got you covered. Don't worry about that. There's also games galore available in the chat to keep you entertained. As I say, I have been ignoring you, but that has been just a Brucey bonus. It was never intended. Just a little bit of side action there that I didn't really plan on providing. But we're going to move to higher ground next, finishing off this hour with another song from Little Stevie Wonder, or Steveland Jenkins, as I do like to point out. I think it's just so far from Stevie Wonder, isn't it? But anyway, Higher Ground is the last song on this second hour. We've got more things in store, more stuff, but not necessarily in that order.
just start sleeping, 'cause it won't be too long. Oh no. I'm so glad that he let me try again, 'cause my last time on earth I let the whole world of sin. I'm so glad that I know more than I knew then. Gonna keep on trying till I reach my highest ground. Till I reach my highest ground. No one's gonna bring me down. Oh no. Till I reach my highest ground. Don't you let nobody bring you down. They'll show the crowd. God is gonna show you.
Your alternative news for Wednesday, the 6th of November. Britain's savvy tea drinkers are in a quandary as to which brand of tea bags contain microplastics, and how to dispose of the tea bags after use. The four biggest brands all contain plastics, which accounts for £400 million worth of tea, and 1 million cups are drunk each day, which makes for a lot of tea bags to dispose of. Your alternative weather for today says it is still a bit nipply out there, so put the kettle on and no wait, anyone for hot chocolate? Now back to the tunes on LJTV.
Hey, we're into part 3. It's okay. It's okay, don't be scared. Nothing to be scared of. Oh no, and apparently, shaking my phone about like that tells it that I want to undo some typing, which I wasn't sure I did. Anyway, what have we got in store for this third and final part of the show? Well, you know all those regular features that you find on a Wednesday show? Well, they're going to be in this very final part of the show. We're going to cram them all in, one after the other. Yes, we've got plenty of things to get through. I've got to select another song to get started off, and then we've got a fascinating fact to provide for you. We've got through all of the brand new music. We have already addressed the album in focus, but we will be back to it on Friday's show, not on today's show. So we've got that in store. There is also other things that we're getting around to. That's the song I wanted to start off this hour with. Other things we've got to get around to is some more trailers. So there are 2 more games to talk to you about. There are actually 3 more games to talk to you about, as we also have a Remembering Retro retrospective. The game that always inspires the first hour of Thursday Throwback, which would be another show that I do on a Thursday where we look back to a retro game. There you go. So it's all linked in some sort of way or another. At least that's the desired intention of it. There you go. The desired intention of it. So there is that still to come. Did I say a fascinating fact? I'm pretty sure I did. If I haven't, I intend to. Just not yet, maybe. Stepping Out is the first song of this third and final unplanned but always scheduled part of the show. We may even get around to unveiling the video behind the Spark Train. So, I was talking about it in the second hour of the show, and I was saying that I do have my own, inspired by VTech, the very excellent VTech Insomniac. Inspired by the very excellent streamer who has his own train that runs, I've decided to try and build my own one. So it make more sense once you see it, and it's to encourage maybe the odd spark dump or drop if you will. You don't have to get involved, it's just something for a bit of fun, maybe a bit of a laugh. We're going to start off with, once again, with Stepping Out from Joe Jackson, which sounds all sort of samba at the beginning and then kind of goes somewhere really quickly. Strange. Joe, what was that all about?
The mist across the window hides the light, but nothing hides the color of the lights that shine. Electricity so fine, look and dry your eyes. So tired of all the darkness in our lives, with no more angry words to say can come alive. Get into a car and drive to the other side. Stepping out into the night, into the stepping out into the night, into the light. We are young but getting old before our time. We'll leave the TV and the radio behind. Don't you wonder what we'll find stepping out tonight? You can dress in pink and blue just like a child, and in a yellow taxi turn to me and smile. We'll be there in just a while if you follow me.
I don't need any more technical issues. Technically, I must be the problem. If it keeps on happening to me, then maybe I'm the problem. But I'm not sure the show can continue if I take me out of the equation. So, we carry on regardless. Cheerfully, we carry on regardless. Okay, a little bit of a crazy stare into a million miles away. We've just been listening to Stepping Out from the very great Joe Jackson, and not the father of the Jacksons. Just had to point that out. I'm sure you wouldn't have mistaken him should you meet him. But not the father, the very famous Joe Jackson, of the father of all of the Michael Jackson, Victoria, all of those sort of connections there. So anyway, am I making some obvious mistakes? Maybe on purpose. Alright, what have we got in store next? We're going to move on to, I'm trying to keep myself giggling, keep myself getting through some of these technical issues, just driving me a little bit up the wall. So, Stepping Out, Joe Jackson, brilliant track. Up next, we move back to the chart of yesteryear, and John Lennon was brand new into this week's chart of 1974, in at number 36. Of course, he's John Lennon, so he would not peak at that position. I will tell you more about Whatever Gets You Through the Night, which is the single we'll be listening to in just a moment. But we also have a trailer that I will be playing, so let's jump over to the desk, take a look-see at Luigi. Hey, it's Luigi. Luigi and his Luigi's Mansion 3. We're highlighting it for the Switch. I'm Pretty sure to say nowadays with the console wars well and truly over, it could be available on other platforms too. So keep your hopes up, find out at your end, as I haven't done all of the research. I try to just whet your appetite, keep you in patient. Anyway, let's move to the trailer. We're going to be playing some John Lennon over the visuals from this new game on the Nintendo. Sorry, keep myself laughing. Wrong button. We'll find it. We'll find you.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's alright, it's alright. Get your money all you like, it's alright, it's alright. Don't need a salt to drop you flowers, oh no. Whatever gets you through your life, it's alright, it's alright. Do it wrong or do it right, it's alright, it's alright. Don't need to watch to waste your time, oh no, oh no. Hold it, darling, come on, listen to me. I won't do you no harm. Trust me, darling, come on, listen to me. Come on, listen to me. Come on, listen, listen. Whatever gets you to the light, it's alright, it's alright. At the blue outside, it's alright, it's alright. Don't need a gun to blow your mind, oh no, oh no. Hold me, darling, come on, listen to me. I won't do you no harm. Trust me, darling, come on, listen to me. Come on, listen to me. Come on, listen, listen.
Right. Whatever gets you through the night is the name of that song. I had to say it that way. It's part of the law. That is John Lennon. He was brand new into this week's chart of 1974, in at number 36. Can you guess where a member of the Fab Four might have peaked at in both charts, here and the United States? Go on, have a guess. You have one guess. Yes, it was number one. It was number one. Of course it was. It was definitely number one. I can't see it in the chat at the moment, so I figure I have to tell you straight away. So that was a number one hit for John Lennon, and it was taken from the album Walls and Bridges, which brings us to the link to the music show on Friday, which is The Bridge. So if you want to join me for another music web show, then join me on Friday. But there is a game show in between. I'll tell you more about that later on. And there was also another link I wanted to point out, that on the first side of that said album that we've just been listening to, whilst we were watching the visuals from the new game, there is a track, a beautiful song on that album called Bless You. Just coincidence? Surely it must be. Up next, we've got Spill the Wine from War. And then I wanted to point out that is Luigi's Mansion 3, so the third instalment of the games that are similarly named, but the numbers usually change. And if you want to find out more about them, hear the trailer in all of its glory, then do make your way to the Twitter feed, but just not quite yet. Enjoy the show. I'll post out at the end. Oh, is that going to be something I'm going to be doing now? I don't know. It's appealing. I might start doing that. It may be that we're posting on all of the platforms about the features posthumously. Not entirely sure. It might keep the show a little bit easier to handle. We've got fascinating facts to get through and also more trailers to watch. Here is Spill the Wine as I get myself back into the mix. This is war, but nobody has to get hurt.
I was once out strolling one very hot summer's day, when I thought I'd lay myself down to rest in a big field of tall grass. I lay there in the sun and felt it caressing my face as I fell asleep and dreamed. I dreamed I was in a Hollywood movie, and that I was the star of the movie. This really blew my mind. The fact that me, an overfed, long-haired, leaping gnome, should be the star of a Hollywood movie. But there I was. I was taken to a place, the Hall of the Mountain King. I stood high upon a mountain top, naked to the world, in front of every kind of girl. There was long ones, tall ones, short ones, brown ones, black ones, round ones, big ones, crazy ones. Out of the middle came a lady. She whispered in my ear something crazy. She said, "Spill the wine, take that pearl. Spill the wine and take that pearl. Spill the wine, take that pearl. Spill the wine, take that pearl." I could feel hot flames of fire roaring at my back as she disappeared, but soon she returned. In her hand was a bottle of wine, in the other a glass. She poured some of the wine from the bottle into the glass and raised it to her lips. And just before she drank it, she said, "Take the wine, take that pearl. Spill the wine, take that pearl. Spill the wine, take that pearl. Come on, come on. Spill the wine, take that pearl, take that pearl. Yeah, it's all yours. You gotta do it. Spill that wine."
You've got to love the flute in this song. I mean, punk flute. Damn. Had to. Couldn't help myself. Alright, that is War. What is it good for? Some funky ass music. That's what it's good for. That's what I'm always saying. Anyway, let's talk to you about some Gigglebite news. We're going to fly through these ones, and then we're going to move on to music from Graham Central Station. That will be the next track that we've already got keyed up. And here is some tech news stories for you. So drone pilots have 24 days, less than 24 days now actually, left to register with the Civil Aviation Authority, basically for their own pilot license, if their drone weighs 250 grams or more. So they will need to pass an online test and pay £9 per year for their pilot license, basically. Who will be chasing them down with the butterfly nets or anything like that? I can imagine the policemen with, especially the big helmets that they wear, rather than the caps, the helmets that they wear instead, chasing down with butterfly nets, trying to get the drone that have obviously came down to get away from the helicopters that are trying to shoot them out of the air as well. I mean, that might just be in my mind, but my mind is a crazy place. So that is the first tech news story. Let's tell you the other one. Epic Games have given a lifetime ban. They're giving out lifetime bans, ladies and gentlemen. This is something I can certainly get on board with for certain games, but a lifetime ban, or for certain streamers maybe. No, not streamers, certain people. Just people. People in general. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Epic, yeah, let's be more generic and more inclusive with my hatred. Sorry, I'm giving myself the giggles. Epic Games have given a lifetime ban to a streamer, Jarvis, after he used a second account to try a piece of cheat software to play the game. So fans of Jarvis have been lobbying the company to get the sentence reduced, but Epic have been firm, stating that they have a zero-tolerance approach to cheating. Well, do you know what? I'm in favour of that. I think if you're going to fuck the game over, you're really just fucking yourself over. And I could have said that in a different way, but I chose my words perfectly, I think. Because if you can't be true to yourself, then who are you going to be true to? You know, I just wanted to find out how other people are cheating. Really? What for? Seriously, why would you want to know? Just one of those news stories that throws up 101 different questions in my mind and 101 Dalmatians at the same time, but that might have something to do with my dyslexia. We're going to move to Graham Central Station. This song is entitled Hair. And it may be a little bit closer to my heart, not just figuratively, but also in the physical sense. Here is Hair.
People ask me everywhere. They say, is that really all you have? I just tell them if it ain't. Well, it sure don't mean that now.
I have seen in chat, I have to jump back in. I really can't help myself. So I have to point out that I have nothing against any streamer that I've just been talking about, or anything like that, or any of the games that I've just been talking about. I'm just saying that the zero tolerance is something to be aware of. That is the news story I'm trying to point out. I certainly hope that lifetime bans get changed and switched back, because that means suggesting that someone is not redeemable. I don't think that even our law process, no matter how harsh in any of the countries, believes that someone is irredeemable. So, I don't agree with the lifetime ban part, but I do want to warn people of the zero tolerance.
The truth will shine in
That's my intention.
Even the blind can damn near see what's outside you and inside me. Down the high to the light. A weak man's love can be a strong man's cry.
So this is Graham Central Station, the frontman of which is Larry Graham. Larry Graham used to be the bass player for none other than the band behind the album in focus for this week, which is Sly and the Family Stone. The album in focus for this week is There's a Riot Going On. We will return to it on Friday's show, where we'll tell you more history about it. But this so could have been the official link to the album in focus, but it isn't. It's just a beautiful song that I'd like to share with you. It's called Hair, and yes, it's close to my heart as I have had long hair for quite some time, and I don't just mean on today's show. I've had it many times in my life. Anyway, what are we up to next? We've got Ike and her husband, Ike and Tina Turner. Ike and his wife. There we go. Got that the wrong way around a little bit, but then hey, I did say my brain wasn't quite necessarily my own in today's show. Hopefully I'm providing most of the facts correctly. So, Ike and her wife, Ike and Tina Turner, with Nutbush City Limits up next is our next track. So I couldn't help myself. I'm keeping myself giggling, got to keep the smile on my face and get to the end of the show. You just never know how we're going to get there. Thank you very much for the sparks. Bless your heart for putting up with me and my crazy mind. What have we got in store next? We're going to be talking to you about Remembering Retro. We've got another game to talk to you about, as well as another movie. And then I think that's pretty much most of the things sorted. I may also hope to unveil the very first time that not 100% finished editing it, but I'm desperate to play it. The Spark Train, but it's not necessarily for this very first time to jump on board. Just enjoy it, see what you think of it, and that'd be nice. That'd be nice to know what your opinion is of this new Spark Train idea that I'm going to try and implement. Nutbush City Limits by lesbian married couple, Ike and Tina Turner.
A church house, gin house, a schoolhouse, outhouse, on highway number 19. The people keep the city clean. They call it Nutbush. Oh, Nutbush.
Alright, I'm here with you. We were talking about Luigi's Mansion earlier on. We've been talking about, or struggling our way through talking about, Ike and Tina Turner with Nutbush City Limit. City Limits, let's get the S at the end, because that's what's the title. That's the correct way of describing it. We also have another game to talk to you about next. This next one will be the highlight for the PC, although I do know that this one is available on different platforms as well. For instance, I know it's available on the Xbox. There we are. I am an Xbox ambassador, so I make it I make it an effort to know about the Xbox in particular. It's also the reason why I highlight the games starting with the Xbox and then working our way to the other lesser consoles. I mean, the other consoles. The other consoles. Remember, do not upset anyone. Right, I'm back in the room. So, what have we got in store? There is also a Remembering Retro to talk about. That will be coming up in just a moment. I'm going to hit play on this song, and then we're going to start off the trailer for this next game, which is entitled After Party. It is the, well, it's not the top. I thought it was the top. Our top one was Luigi's Mansion, which I should have pointed out. That got a 8.6 rating from us. This has got a very respectable rating of 8.0, so 8.0 for After Party. We'll be playing that trailer whilst we enjoy Parliament, or Parliament Funkadelic as they used to be known, but this is Parliament with Get Up the Funk, or in brackets, Tear the Roof Off the Sucker.
Tear the roof off, we're gonna tear the roof off the mother sucker. Tear the roof off the sucker. Tear the roof off, we're gonna tear the roof off the mother sucker. Tear the roof off the sucker. Tear the roof off, we're gonna tear the roof off the mother sucker. Tear the roof off the sucker. You got a real type of thing going down, getting down. There's a whole lot of rhythm going round. You got a real type of thing going down, getting down. There's a whole lot of rhythm going round.
So after the show, there's the after party. Well, that was After Party. It is available on the PC. It is also available on the Xbox, but it may be available on other platforms too. You should find out more if that trailer has already whet your appetite. Might just take this music down a little bit further. We're currently listening to Give Up the Funk, which is from Parliament, although in a previous incarnation they were known as Parliament Funkadelic. There is many connections to be had from this band into the world of funk, disco, rock, even into the Red Hot Chili Peppers as well. Yeah, lots of great artists connected with Parliament or Parliament Funkadelic, whichever incarnation we're talking about. We're going to be moving on to a song from John Grant in just a moment. We still have a Remembering Retro to remind you of. There is still a movie that we'll be talking about. and I'm trying to remember if there's anything else I'm forgetting. I think we might have everything else in place. I do see some of the things popping up on the screen here, so I can see some of these things right here, the chat bubbles and the host, I think it is. Thank you very much for the host, bless your hearts. I can't quite make it out from my screen here. I have changed the setup of the studio a little bit, which it does mean the technical issue of not having this restream bot telling me my chat means that I'm kind of oblivious of what's happening. I do try and keep up, so I will be trying to catch up with you in just a moment. So yes, well, let's go back to Parliament with Give Up the Funk, and I'll tell you about another trailer in a moment. Have we turned it on? Yeah, we go. That's the picture that accompanies, or will be accompanying, the tweets for this week. I have not tweeted out half the amount of tweets I would normally do during the show, but we're going to be doing it afterwards, mainly because the show started about 10 minutes late for me. That's unacceptable. But it started 10 minutes late. We also don't have an official finish time, so that's not too much of a problem. But with that in mind, I have had technical issues right up the wazoo. 5 minutes before I normally hit 5 minutes, go live 5 minutes before the actual, just no, and completely reset itself. So I had a bit of a technical issue there. I have noticed some of the hosts that have been popping up. Thank you very much for joining us. Bless your hearts, Devil's Son and RSM. G Gaming, let me see if I get that absolutely right. I also had a request for an album in focus. So the artist we were talking about, I have found out, is sort of a Christian rock group. Well, Christian rock is not my vibe, so unfortunately I will never be getting around to those kind of artists. And for all, not to try and upset, but for all honesty, I do think that the Christian rock elements being crammed together is sort of makes a mockery of both of those words. It's not quite Christian and it's not quite rock. That's my problem with it, and I've never really find when they link religion with music does it work so well, or at least not as well as gospel have already achieved that particular goal. We're going to move on to Black Belt, which is our next song from John Grant, and we'll also be playing another trailer. I'll be telling you about that movie after we've seen it and heard this next music.
You are at the height of your game, aren't you? Would you not say that you agree, baby? You got your grip all fine-tuned and sparkling. Yeah, you got your board look all worked out. You are all enlightened, nothing makes you frightened. You ain't got no time to waste on entry-level middle class. You are supercilious, pretty and ridiculous. You got really good taste. You know how to cut and paste. What you got is a black belt in BS, but you can't hawk your pretty wares up in here anymore. Hit your head on the Gallopageian, but look at the state you're in. You got really nice clothes, bet you didn't pay for those. What you got is a black belt in BS, but you can't hawk your pretty wares up in here anymore. Hit your head on the playground at recess, etch a sketch your way out of this one reject.
So we're currently listening to the soothing sounds of John Grant with Black Belt, but we've been watching the visuals of the final movie we're talking about this week. This one is parental guidance rated, so PG, for those who prefer the acronym. And the movie is all about the art of racing. The movie's title is The Art of Racing in the Rain, and it's all about a dog that contemplates his life, or its life, I should say. I'm not entirely sure. His life. There we go. I had to check the information here. Contemplates his life with his human family. Has received a 7.4 rating from us, so keep that in mind if you want to seek out your copy. You might want to watch the trailer in its entirety. I'll be posting it on Twitter very shortly, but once the show is over anyway. I still got another game to talk to you about, which is our Remembering Retro, and then we'll be making our way out of the virtual studio, but not before we host someone else, as we pass the host on, spreading the Mixer love. I also have something that I want to test run on the stream, so only for those who've been dedicated for the show. We'll be catching this one up. We'll be catching the very first run of it, is what I'm trying to say. I'm already nervous about it, so that's why I'm stumbling over my words. But we'll get there anyway. It's worth trying, I believe. So, stay tuned for this and other stuff too. It's a good time for me to carry on talking. I was going to turn him up. Rejected. That was John Grant, an excellent Canadian artist. We're moving on to Soothe Me from Sam and Dave, as we were talking about lots of funk, lots of soul on today's show, and I have also been talking about music that soothes you. We were talking about that in previous and recent streams. So this is Sam and Dave's version, Sam and Dave's take on Soothe.
Soothe me, baby, soothe me. Soothe me with your kindness. For you know your powerful love is soothing to me. One more time. Soothe me, baby, soothe me. Soothe me with your kindness. For you know your powerful love is soothing to me.
Come on now, let's do this again. Oh, yeah. That's it. Come on now, put your hands together. Everybody, come on now. Excuse me. Excuse me. Baby, you got the lights. What is over? Excuse me. Excuse me.
Wrong button. All the buttons, but not quite the right button. We get there in the end. That was Soothe Me from Sam and Dave. That was originally their track. We are going to move to Remembering Retro, and then we've got a couple more elements left on today's show, a couple more songs left on today's show, and then it will be the end of today's stream. Aha, you thought I was going to say show again. Damn, I did as well. Right, so, can you guess what game we're remembering fondly? Well, it is Hitman. Hitman is the game we remember fondly this week, and I have not got my notes in front of me. Strange. I'm worried. The reason I don't have my notes in front of me is because I do now, actually. The reason I didn't have my notes in front of me is because I'm currently worried that the trailer isn't working for this one. So, fingers crossed it works perfectly whilst we listen to a Steely Dan. That will be the next song on today's set list. We are also going to be thinking about, if not enjoying, the trailer for Hitman, originally released back in 2000. So it's on its way to be celebrating a big anniversary soon. But it is a stealth type game. It originally was released on all consoles, or almost all consoles anyway, and it is a single player game, at least the original was. It has now changed a little bit since then. This is an excellent game. Whenever we talk about Remembering Retro, we play the game on Thursday. So for at least the very first hour of tomorrow's stream, we will be playing Hitman. Hitman will be played. One of the Hitmen will be played at the very least. You're going to have to tune in tomorrow to find out about it. This has received a 4-star rating, and that it has been accumulated over many critics' choices. But for me, it is a 5 out of 5 stars for this game and the series. It is a brilliant game. Maybe Agent 47 is the only thing. I think his name, or the name of the beloved character, is just a little bit crap. Let's be honest with you about it. So, 7 games in total since the first release, which has sold over 15 million units so far. Agent 47 has the last 2 digits of his barcode, you know, the one that goes across the back of his bonds. So that's the last numbers within that barcode, apparently. But again, I still think it's a bit of a shit name. I think they could have changed him. Maybe given him a name by now is what I'm saying. Seven games deep, and we haven't had any idea of what to call him other than Agent 47. Anyway, it sounds like a cleaning product. And that's the part that I have an issue with. That's why I'm trying to hold off from saying it. So the storyline has progressed throughout all of the 7 games. So the links go way back. If you play the game, you will find if you play the game from the original one, you will find references in the most recent ones all the way back to the beginning. That's what I'm trying to say. The film adaptations, well, they were shit. And then there was another one, which was also shit. So I just thought I'd point those ones out. Don't waste your time. Most games, when they try to make them into movies, they just basically fuck it up. So Street Fighter would be one of the absolute classic fuck-ups. And they've gone on from that there, spent bigger and bigger budgets, really. But anyway, here we go. This is Do It Again, because no doubt they'll do it again. And hopefully we'll be playing the right trailer for the Hitman series in just a moment, as we remember retro. Smash on the buttons until they work. There we go. Do It Again. That was the song we were just listening to. That is from Steely Dan. And we were trying to play the trailer for Hitman, the original Hitman, or at least Hitman, one of the Hitman series trailers. Is I currently have a few that I was trying to locate, and I can't find any of them. So maybe I might be able to get it sorted. I've got another song keyed up already. It's from, if we're playing funk, soul, and all that sort of music on this week's music shows, that's because of the album in focus. Well, it would seem sacrilegious to not eventually pay attention to the godfather of soul. So we have to move to the godfather himself, James Brown. And Papa's got a brand new bag. That's going to be our next track. And hopefully I'll be hitting play on a trailer that will show you Hitman, which we'll be playing tomorrow on Thursday Throwback. It is our Remembering Retro, but it would be Thursday Throwback. Here we are. Papa's got a brand new bag. Bless your heart, thank you for the sparks, but I do have a new feature coming up. You might want to hold fire. So I'm back with you, lovely, lovely people. Thank you very much for the sparks, but I have a ad break to take, and then we're going to test my very first attempt at my... it's sort of a little, not quite fully edited. I really am getting excited about it. I want to try and add it into the stream. I was inspired by VTech. VTech, who is a friend of the stream channel here, and also an inspirational streamer. So inspired by his Spark Train, after this ad break, we'll be moving to my very own Spark Train, work in progress, title to be confirmed, and things like that. Stay tuned. That will be coming up in just a second. It will also I'll also be playing some music with it. So yeah, it's going to be something interesting, hopefully.
Get busy with the fizzy with Soda Stream. Big or small, get busy with the fizzy. Short or tall, crave a fizzy flavor with water from the tap. Press the magic button, shake it, just voila. Mix a little mixer, add a little dash. No trouble with the bubbles, splish, a little splash. It's an endless stream, so get busy with the fizzy. Soda Stream. That's fizzy.
If you
like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, join our club. If you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, join our club. If you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, join our. If you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, join our club.
Okay. Suspense is over now, and I will try my best to not keep you waiting any longer. So I wanted to try and build my own spark train, and yes, to encourage involvement in the chat, and also give you something funny to watch when you've got somewhere to dump your sparks, if you are that way inclined. So yes, the song we're going to be playing will be the OJs, but let's get the trailer, or let's get it all started. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. You don't have to get involved with dropping any sparks. You can just enjoy the visuals. Tell me your opinion. That's all I'm really looking for at the moment. Just looking for your opinion. I'll be back after this, and then we'll have one more song before we've got to go and host someone. That's going to be the plan for the rest of the show. So that was my spark train. I am blown away. So much love. Love all of you guys. That is Mixer. Love for you. Bless your hearts, every single one of you. So, it's not quite fully tweaked, and I want to edit another one so we have a few variants on it, and also different songs on them as well. So I've got some ambitions for my Spark Train, but bless your hearts. It's all about trying to encourage full engagement just of that type. I'm blown away. I'm blown away right now, and I'm a happy bunny. Thank you so much. Today's show has been a strange one, but it certainly has been a very fun and great times had. Is what I'm struggling with my words now. And you know what? I did that to myself. I've encouraged this. I've encouraged the whole embarrassment feeling. But bless your hearts, and thank you so much for getting involved in that Spark Train. Excellent. We're going to finish off with our last song on today's set list, and I'm going to implore you to join me once again, but also stick around as we will be hosting someone else at the end of today's stream. I will be back again for tomorrow's stream, and that is for Thursday Throwback. Mind completely blown. Yes, Thursday Throwback will be tomorrow between the hours, I think, of our new hours. So it's probably going to be between starting at 5, live at 5, maybe the weekday times. Bless your hearts so much. I'm just seeing it all popping off here. Bless your hearts so much, each and every one of you. So, I will be back again tomorrow. I will be back for another web show on Friday, though. So, tomorrow's show is a little bit different, and then Sundays is different again. But whatever your plans are, take care of yourselves and be lucky. Just be lucky. If you can't be lucky, be careful. Please, be careful. So, we're going to finish off with Love TKO. It seems quite right. Because you've knocked me out, ladies and gents. You've knocked me out. Stay tuned. I'm going to roll the credits and seek a host target.
Looking back over my years, I guess I shedded some tears. I told myself time and time again, this time I'm gonna win. But another fight, things ain't right, I'm losing again. Takes a fool to lose twice, start all over again. Think I'd better let it go. Looks like another love TKO. Oh, think I better let it go. What you think about it, girl? Oh, yeah. Try to take control of the love to control of me. Cause I lose all thought, sense of time, and have a change of mind. Taking the bumps and the bruises of all the things of a two-time loser. Trying to hold on, think it's gone. It's just another sad song. I think I better let it go. What you say about it? Looks like another love TKO. Oh, oh, oh. Yes, I think I better let it go. Let it go, baby. Oh, baby. Looks like another love TKO. Oh, oh, oh.
Thank you all so much. I am blown away. Thank you so much, you lovely, lovely people. I will be bidding you adieu now, but we will pass over the show, or the host, to VTech. You will be in capable hands with VTech Insomniac. He is currently playing Grand Theft Auto V, so he's probably policing the great city of... No, it's not Liberty City anymore, is it? wherever it's set nowadays, I can't remember. But he's on Grand Theft Auto anyway. GTA, if you will. If you prefer the whole acronym kind of vibe. We're going to roll the credits, and then at the end of Teddy Pendergrass's song Love TKO, as I am knocked out by all of the mix of love and all of your attention. Thank you so much for joining me. I do apologise that I haven't been able to keep up with chat, because there's been lots of issues, of technical issues on this side, which I have not really tried to let bother me. So yes, the last remaining minute and 40 seconds of Teddy, and then we pass over to VTech. Take care of yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, until we meet again. Bless your hearts, take care, be lucky, or be careful.
Oh, baby. Baby. Oh, sometimes I just feel like I wanna sing. Cause it looks like another love TKO. Tired of getting beat up by love. I better let it go. Before it's too late.